There was a time when fans could routinely expect 3 or even 4 Marvel Studios film releases in a given year. 2025 had 3: Captain America: Brave New World, Thunderbolts, and Fantastic Four: First Steps. But the cadence seems to be slowing down in 2026 and 2027. So what's on the way? The first MCU film to arrive after First Steps will be Spider-Man: Brand New Day, which is slated for release on July 31st, 2026. It's not clear how much it'll dig into broader, universe-wide concerns, but there's a lot to clear up about Tom Holland's Spider-Man himself. At the end of the previous Spidey flick, No Way Home, everyone who previously knew Peter Parker was forced to forget about him. It found Spidey back at square one, no longer getting help from Tony Stark's technology to do his heroics. The change makes Peter more like his comics counterpart, who has almost always had to fend for himself. An official plot summary has yet to be released, but the rumored storyline will find Peter trying to put his adventures as a superhero in the past and concentrate on college and a job, until a new menace forces him to team up with unexpected allies and once again defend the city he loves. Though No Way Home made it abundantly clear that both MJ and Ned lost all knowledge of who Peter was.
Peter Parker? Peter Parker? Your coffee.
Right. Thank you.
Both Zendaya and Jacob Batalon will reprise their respective roles. Sadie Sink and Liza Colon-Zayas have also been cast as yet unnamed characters. Jon Bernthal will make the jump from TV to play Frank Castle, the Punisher. He and Spidey have been grudging allies in comics in the past, and that's likely to be the case here too. The entire shape of Marvel's Phases 6 and 7 changed when the studio fired Jonathan Majors over assault allegations. He was set to play its next big bad, the time-traveling king in Avengers: The Kang Dynasty. The new villain who took his place is Dr. Doom, who is being played by Robert Downey Jr., returning to the MCU in a new role. He'll face down a whole slew of heroes in Avengers: Doomsday, which is scheduled to hit theaters on December 18, 2026. All we know about Doomsday so far is the release date, that it's currently in production as of the making of this video, and what we assume is just a partial cast list. In a nearly 5.5-hour livestream in March 2025, Marvel named 27 actors who will appear in the film, including Downey, the 4 leads of First Steps, most of the team from Thunderbolts, and a surprisingly large number of folks from the Fox X-Men films. We also know it's just half the story. More on that in a minute. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige hasn't revealed much, but he dropped a few bits of information to comicbook.com, saying, "We're shooting on all the same sets that we built for Fantastic Four. I would say the now iconic Baxter Building living room and kitchen, where we saw the four get to know each other in this movie, let's say there are a lot more people in that kitchen in Avengers." Yes, Kevin, that's what we're dying to know. All about the kitchen. Like Infinity War and Endgame, the next 2 Avengers movies make up a 2-part epic, set for release almost exactly 1 year apart. So after Doomsday hits in December 2026, its second half, Avengers: Secret Wars, is set for December 17th, 2027. Though the 1984 series Marvel Superheroes: Secret Wars is credited with inventing the modern-day comics crossover event, it's probably not the comic the movie will be based on. It's much more likely to pull from 2015's Secret Wars by Jonathan Hickman and Esad Ribic. That 9-issue series and its associated tie-ins document the end of the Marvel Universe as it had been up to that point, the 7th Cosmos, and the start of the 8th Cosmos, which is similar to the old Marvel U in many ways, but has some important changes. Notably, the series involves Dr. Doom attempting to thwart the plans of the extra-dimensional Beyonders, who want to use Molecule Man to destroy the multiverse. The collision of various universes results in the creation of Battleworld, which Doom rules for a time as God Emperor. Though the MCU has pulled plenty of story elements from comics over the years, Marvel Studios has done a lot of stripping down, streamlining, and cherry-picking of specific plot points to make things more cinematic. Just look at Civil War, which keeps the conflict between the heroes but changes a whole lot about why it's happening.
Did you know? I didn't know it was him.
So it's likely that Secret Wars will resemble the story from the comics while altering a bunch of the details. We'd bet the Beyonders and Molecule Man will be left out, given that the cast will be pretty well stuffed with survivors from Doomsday to begin with. Marvel has 2 releases currently on the schedule for 2027. In addition to Secret Wars in December, there's an as-yet unnamed project on the calendar for July 23rd. So what is it, if we make the not totally assured assumption that date even holds true and doesn't get pushed off the docket? Whatever it would be, it would have to already be in production. A lot of fans seem to think that it's Doctor Strange 3, but Marvel hasn't officially announced that it's being made. Perhaps it's the long in development, maybe never going to happen Armor Wars? It could really be anything. Or nothing. But Feige recently gave some fuel to the notion that the studio's take on Blade, starring Mahershala Ali, may be coming sooner than anyone expected. That is to say, at all. He told Variety that Blade has been a victim of the overexpansion and quality issues that plagued the MCU in phases 4 and 5. But maybe it's on track now? Feige told the outlet, We didn't want to simply just put a leather outfit on him and have him start killing vampires. It had to be unique. It fell into the time when we started pulling back and saying, only accept insanely great. And it wasn't insanely great at the time. The phrase at the time is doing a lot of work there. Blade has been in development hell since it was announced in 2019, churning through writers and directors. It was actually on the calendar at one point for November 7th, 2025, but that got wiped away and hasn't been replaced with a concrete date yet. The only tease we've gotten of Ali's Blade is some off-screen dialogue in the post-credits scene of Eternals. The film's development issues have become so well known that Wesley Snipes, who returned as his version of Blade in Deadpool and Wolverine, got a shot in at it.
There's only been one Blade. There's only ever gonna be one Blade.
Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings introduced Simu Liu as the title character. The film performed moderately well, considering it came out at the tail end of the pandemic and introduced a character that was largely unknown to the public. News of a Shang-Chi sequel was already making the rounds in 2021, indicating that the film's director, Destin Daniel Cretton, would return to helm a follow-up. Since then, Cretton got tapped to direct Spider-Man Brand New Day instead, leaving his involvement with Shang-Chi 2 uncertain. If Cretton is determined to direct the Shang-Chi sequel, then in all likelihood, it's not making the July 2027 release date. It could drop on May 5th, 2028 during Phase 7. That's a date slotted for another untitled Marvel movie. At the very least, Liu is confirmed to appear in Avengers Doomsday, and may also stick around for Secret Wars before returning in his own sequel. It's possible that Awkwafina will also reprise her role as Katie from the first film, though she said in August 2024 that she hadn't been contacted about participating in the project. But you know how it is, she wouldn't say if she had been. The first two Black Panther films were critical and financial hits, so it's definitely only a matter of time before Black Panther 3 hits theaters. Kevin Feige announced as much in December 2024, but characteristically didn't reveal much more than that it was officially being developed. As of mid-2025, the project was still in the early going. No official casting announcements have been made, but one actor let it slip that he's involved. In November 2024, Denzel Washington very directly told Australia Today that he's got a role.
Ryan Coogler is writing a part for me in the next Black Panther.
There wasn't any way to sidestep or spin that one, so director and writer Coogler confirmed the casting during an appearance on the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn podcast. He didn't offer any details outside of mentioning that he's been trying to find a project to work with Washington for some time, adding that he thinks Washington is the greatest living actor. 2022's Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, had the unfortunate task of having to ride out the first film star, Chadwick Boseman, who died of cancer in 2020. The Black Panther mantle transferred from his King T'Challa to his sister, Shuri, played by Letitia Wright. Wright is confirmed to be in Avengers Doomsday, and she'll undoubtedly be back for the third Black Panther film, though neither a plot nor a release date have been made public. While some fans believe this is the July 2027 film, it'd have to be far further along in production than anyone is letting on. Coogler has been pretty busy with Sinners and his upcoming X-Files reboot TV series. One last movie some fans have predicted filling that July 2027 spot is X-Men, though that would be, to name an X-Men character, a long shot.
Jokes.
July 2027 release date may not even happen though. It could move like the Avengers release dates did. Feige has said Marvel will clean the slate and introduce its own set of all-new, all-different X-Men, with Secret Wars clearing the way for that. So it's highly unlikely Marvel will release an X-Men movie before Secret Wars. Thunderbolts director Jake Schreier is locked in to take the helm of the movie when it does happen, probably in 2028. It's been clear the X-Men would be coming to the MCU in some form or fashion since Disney acquired 20th Century Fox back in 2019. By that point, the Fox X-Men franchise had become a bit of a mess of shifting timelines. Yet, instead of immediately hitting the reset button, Marvel Studios, at least so far, has only brought the Fox versions of the characters back. We've gotten Kelsey Grammer's Beast, Patrick Stewart's Professor X, Aaron Stanford's Pyro, and Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, along with a few other small cameos. As we mentioned, even more are slated for appearances in Doomsday. In addition to Stewart and Grammer, Ian McKellen is coming back as Magneto, Rebecca Romijn as Mystique, Alan Cumming as Nightcrawler, and James Marsden as Cyclops. Oh, and though he never actually appeared in a Fox X-Men movie, Channing Tatum will play Gambit again after Deadpool and Wolverine. But that's undoubtedly just table setting for a bigger shift. Ian McKellen is 86 years old for crying out loud. Let's be real, the MCU got to be too much to keep up with there for a while. Between 3 or 4 movies a year and multiple Disney Plus TV series to watch, it just got to the point of being overwhelming. We've got lives to live outside of watching Marvel stuff, you know? Though he didn't exactly say that, Feige indicated to Variety that he's aware. He said the output will be much less for the TV stuff in the near future, and it'll be less of a homework requirement to have watched the TV shows to understand what's going on in the movies. No more having to watch Ms. Marvel to even begin to get what's going on in the Marvels. So what's on the docket? First, there's the animated Eyes of Wakanda anthology series, which follows Wakandan warriors throughout history. It's set to get going August 1st, 2025. Then there'll be the animated Marvel Zombie Show, a spin-off of What If, which is scheduled for October 3rd, 2025. Those are both a manageable 4 episodes each. A second season of Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is also on the way in 2026. The live-action Wonder Man series starring Yahya Abdul-Mateen II as the title character, a superhero who is also an actor, debuts in December 2025. It also brings back Ben Kingsley's Trevor Slattery from Iron Man 3 and Shang-Chi. The second season of Daredevil Born Again hits in March 2026. Vision Quest, the follow-up to WandaVision finally showing what the all-white Vision got up to, is also scheduled for sometime in 2026. All those are said to have 8 episodes. On top of that, a Punisher special, co-written by Jon Bernthal, is scheduled for 2026, perhaps providing some connective tissue between Born Again and Spider-Man Brand New Day. The movie is called Secret Wars, but something that's not secret at all is that it's going to change the shape and scope of the MCU. Feige told Variety that not everything is going to change though. He said, "Reboot is a scary word. Reboot can mean a lot of things to a lot of people. Reset, singular timeline. We're thinking along those lines." Feige said outright that Tony Stark and Steve Rogers are going to be recast with new actors, and that, as we said, X-Men will start fresh. But it sounds like plenty won't get thrown out or recast. It seems like perhaps the Secret Wars comic series is the template. It changed some things, most notably bringing Miles Morales' Spider-Man from the Ultimate Universe to the main Marvel U, and pruning some alternate universes out of continuity. More than anything though, it just gave new readers a jumping-on point. The Secret Wars movie seems poised to do the same, inviting new and old fans back to theaters with the promise of no more confusing multiverse stuff to worry about.